founder, Cassia Trusty. We founded Listen Network, a startup community for entrepreneurs. It started as just a couple of, uh, like Cassia and I are writing articles here and there on some founders that we thought were like really cool, and it very quickly turned into us creating an incubator, launching that incubator, and now kind of just doing everything we can to help that current cohort and continuing to build out the Listen Network ecosystem. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here, and we're going to kind of dig into web design and the things that the two of us have picked up along the way. So I'm going to share my screen, and if you could give me a thumbs up when you guys can see the screen. Let me see. Interesting. I can no longer see you guys. This is not ideal.
We can see it, yes.
Okay, you guys can see it. I just can't see you. Okay, cool. That's fitting. Great. So to start, I just want to kind of deep dive into some of the best practices that I've come across while, doing web design. And here I'll actually my video because my Wi-Fi gets a little choppy. Want to make sure you guys can see my screen the entire time. All right, so I wanted to start off with a case study. So GameFi is actually a member of the current cohort we have in our incubator, and they have a fintech solution that's mixed with gaming. It's really awesome, but they also have a really awesome site, and we're going to be able to break down the simplicity of a starter website. So this is GameFi's landing page, and I have some arrows here just to show you the things they did right. So at the very top, there's only two things that can kind of grab your attention. One is this logo in the corner with GameFi and their logo. And then the other is their call to action, which is join their pilot. So they recently launched their live pilot in beta so that they can, get the data that they need to make a decision as to, if this is the best idea for them. But super awesome that they were able to kind of like outline this. And then they have a clear idea of what you're going to get from their system. They're like, play the system. It's obviously a game, so that's super fitting. They have a one-liner about what you would do with their platform, and then start. Like, it's very simple. There's few places to click, but if you do click, you'll go right into the funnel where they want you to be, which is to start using their product. Really awesome that GameFi was able to build that, and I thought it was really cool that the three of them were able to come up with this. So next up, I wanted to cover the most important thing when you're about to build your website. It's going to be your colors. So sometimes we have a tendency, I know myself included, I want to like pick colors that I like personally, when really the best practice is to pick colors that universally have their own meaning. So if you look over here, most people who are into web design have seen this before, but if you haven't, it kind of breaks down what each color represents, and then it gives you a live example of some brands that utilize this thinking. So if you look at the brands within some of these, so for example, if we go over to trust, why would Dell need for you to trust them? Well, they're in technology, and when they first came out, it wasn't exactly a very trustworthy thing. Same thing with Lowe's. They're in construction, and when you're thinking about building things, you want the most reliable, trustworthy equipment possible. And if you look down, you'll see a lot of examples of things that kind of need you to trust them for them to have a strong business. So colors are super, super important because they do evoke a certain emotion in people when they see them. There are ways that you can actually get like automated color suggestions. So there's Dribbble, and it's spelled with 3 B's. If you just type Dribbble, you'll probably get something basketball related into Google. But if you type it with 3 B's, you'll come across Dribbble, the color AI picker, and it helps people pick different color palettes for different startup ideas. And then Coolors, that's 2 O's, is also really cool. So you actually kind of go to the site and just keep hitting spacebar, and it just comes up with random color combinations that fit really well together. So yeah, it's really awesome. And another way that Cassia and I, at least when building business ideas, we come up with our colors, is to look at themes within competitors. It sounds like it'd be counterintuitive, but this next slide is actually going to show you why it's not. So remember that blue means trust, orange means friendly, and then red means excitement. So if we go over here, these are like major banks and credit card providers, and from a glance, like they're really all the same set of colors, and they're all competitors, but somehow they can all exist in the space, make billions of dollars, and people will use them regardless of how similar all of their logos look. And again, so blue is trust, so of course a bank would need you to trust them. And then the orange bit is friendly, red is excitement. So this is a friendly, trustworthy bank. That's what they're trying to tell you. A friendly, trustworthy credit card, and then a exciting, trustworthy credit card, and an exciting, trustworthy bank. It's really interesting the way in which they were able to kind of play on all those and look really similar, but still, operate in their own piece of the market. So next up, we have the landing page. With landing pages, you want to make sure you have minimal text. If you have too much text, people are going to get really, really, really uncomfortable and not want to read it. I know personally, I kind of exit out of any website that has way too much text unless it's solving an amazingly incredible problem. I don't really want to waste too much time reading a lot of stuff. And they both have really clear call to actions. So for this one, it's get early access. And this is actually a dummy site that someone built out. You can read the text here. It's not text at all. But it says get started. Like immediately you have buttons that tell you exactly what they want you to do on the site. The worst thing you can do is have a site where you visit and like the visitor doesn't know what to do with your site. It's kind of a waste of a click and a waste of their time as well. So you want to summarize, you want to make sure you're drawing attention to the action. You want to use large and bold words. So you see here, these are large and bold, so people really know what's going on. And you want to avoid cluttered designs. So they have a simple like chef here. They have a simple, team building with puzzle pieces. You don't want to have like, oh, let's put like another image back here, another image over here, or like, let's have 4 chefs. Like that's just way too much and it'll confuse people in the long run. Okay, imaging and design. So for a startup's website, imaging and design is crucial. I personally utilize Canva, Photoshop. I've heard that Figma is amazing. I just haven't really gotten into it yet, but I will soon. These are all just really great tools. And worst come to worst, if you just aren't going to, yourself and you know that you're not really the person to do a whole lot of designing, then outsourcing is going to be your best bet. You can go on Fiverr, which I'll show you guys after this, and you can kind of get some really awesome work done for your UI, and it's super cheap. Now, if you're looking at the images over here, this might look like, oh, this is a bad example, this is a good example, but these are actually both bad examples for a completely different set of reasons. So if I'm making a startup, clearly this throwback Amazon.com picture it's super bad, but it's also super outdated. You see this is from 1999, but there are still websites that look just like this today. The primary issue is just the placement. There's way too many words. Even though it's a marketplace, you can make this look much better in terms of UI. And it did the job back in 1999, but we're in 2021. We can do a lot better than this. Now, this one is a little bit harder to tell why it's a bad design. But the text up here, it's a little small. Now, for some websites that works, but it's a little small, and then it's really boxy. So right now, even though it seems like a small thing, having these sharp corners all over the screen is actually pretty uncomfortable for the eyes, because right now, designing is kind of in this like soft, rounded edge world, which I mean, I like it. I don't really have much of an opinion about it, but I know that it's what's super popular, and I'll show you some websites after we're done with this PowerPoint to kind of drive that point home. But yeah, this is a less obvious example of something that is just not what you want to do when you're making a design for a startup or even a new small business. Okay, and then finally, Where to build. So there's a lot of options. I put 3 of the most popular options. Cassia and I currently use WordPress. It's been treating us well, but there's so many out there. So don't take what we say as like this is the only one I can use. There's really a lot of options, but the biggest thing when it comes to where to build your website that you need to keep in mind is what is your use case? For example, a website that's going to have a lot of custom features and a lot of back-end heavier, code and infrastructure, you're not going to want to build it on something flat like Squarespace. You want to build it more in WordPress or even Wix. And you want to go to, some external tools so you can really get the best possible tools, like you can get the best possible opinion on which tool makes the most sense for you. One of the things that I like a lot is just going to websites that are like competitors or they're doing something similar to what you want to do and using hostingchecker.com. You can put their URL in and it'll tell you who's hosting their site, which will then, tell you where you could possibly host. Because if you notice that, you want to make an ed tech and all the ed tech platforms you look at use Wix. Well, chances are they're using Wix for a reason, especially if they're all like not related to each other, but they're all still using the same platform. Maybe you want to use it too. So yeah, Hosting Checker is really awesome. Last thing you want to do is go in blind. That is a really, really bad idea, and you can end up really upset if you end up with a solution that you have already paid for and isn't going to do what you need for it to do. So yeah, that's a bit on that. That's all I had for the presentation, but now I wanted to do a quick walkthrough of some of the things I mentioned. So let me stop sharing and then reshare. Right. Cool. Okay. Let me click around. All right. Let me reshare. All right. And can somebody confirm that you guys can see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Awesome. Cool. So first thing I wanted to show you, this is GameFi's live site. So they have this like moving icon over here, which is actually like there's 5 to 10 minute YouTube videos that'll show you how to do something really cool like this. They have their logo, clickable, join their pilot, and they have their main call to action in this really cool 3D figurine. As you scroll down, you get to see more of kind of the different parts of the game and what you can do with it. Again, they're a fintech, so they have this cool like mock-up of a card. This card doesn't even exist yet. This is actually just something they got like made, like just the visual for their website. And this is the kind of stuff you can do if you're building, a startup. Just because you're not done with your MVP doesn't mean you can't have it like made the way you'd like for it to look one day and then, show it on your website. All right, and then as you scroll down, it's super simple. So this is a one-page website, also known as a landing page, and there's nothing else to it really. You scroll down, and this is it. This is their entire site. Yet this is something that they've been able to use to really launch their business. So definitely kudos to them. This, on the other hand, is Listen Network. So this is the website that Cassia and I put together probably a really long time ago now, like a few months. But again, super simple. We wanted people to know that we had the incubator program. We wanted them to apply. And immediately when you scroll down, you see how it works. We wanted people to know everything about that. There's a lot of areas to click so that you go to the same place. You can go to apply. We have some, cool animations here. We talk about our values, our partners, logos at the bottom. Logos are huge. If you have any partnerships with recognizable logos, you want to make sure those are on there. And we embedded our social media so people can see, some of our posts and things like that so they can follow us. And that's kind of it. I'm actually going to show you next in Canva, the way you can kind of create a visual like this or a visual like the header. So let me hop over to Canva, and then I have 2 other case studies as well. But so this is the original file that I actually used to make the 2 headers that you see, and I made it on my then free Canva account. Now I pay Canva like $12 a month just so I have more functionality, but at that point I was paying much less. So yeah, so you can see all these are elements. So that's our logo. That's nothing but text. These are actually like dots that I just turned to our brand color, which is blue, and then just threw them in the corner. So these little dots over here. And then I put this picture that I found literally in the free Canva database. I just looked up like a team working, and it popped right up. This one took a little bit more time to do. So this is the same dots, by the way, as up here. I literally copied them down here and just like pasted them, and it was what it was. This guy, he originally had a different background. So to show you guys how that works, I'm going to take one of these. I'll take this guy. It looks pretty cool. I like his energy. Make him a little bigger. Go to effects. I remove his background. In Canva's background remover, I've only seen something as strong on Photoshop. It is really strong. Like this thing usually doesn't mess up. Perfect. So this guy's here. I could delete our old guy. Wait, do I have? Okay, I want to make sure I had an extra just in case. I can delete our old guy. Can throw him in there, and literally that would be it. Like this is something that I could like upload on our website, and it would just be super chill. And this was from a previously yellow background. So I can undo that because I kind of want my other guy back. Cool. Awesome. And then I wanted to show you a cool functionality that I saw. Cassia makes jokes about it, but I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. So let's say I have a, I guess I can put in like a team, and I can use, honestly, any of these work, but I'm going to use this one. Yeah, I'm going to use this one. So if I go to effects, Canva just rolled out the Smart Mockups feature. It doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but I'm telling you, it like changes everything. When you have a tool like a product or a software, and you're trying to show people how it would look if they used it, you can just use this Smart Mockup feature. And so, for example, I want to see this picture of this team on a smartphone. Click it. And there it is. And I can even move it around to make sure it's like exactly what I want it to be. Say I don't like that one as much and I want it on just like, or say like this is an iPhone, but I want it on like a Android, I can switch it over. I think this is an Android, even though those are AirPods. And it's the same thing. And that is super helpful when you're making mock-ups. Like Cassia knows that I spent many, many hours trying to get like the perfect like mock-ups to fit on this little screen. So this is this is a really useful tool that you can use. And then the other cool thing about Canva is, say like this team looks cool, but I like this team more. I can actually drag it, and then immediately it'll, fit into that box that I just made. And all of my overlays that I made previously will still be there, which is really helpful. And you can like play around with all the different types of images that they have. So super awesome. I love Canva. I do so much in Canva. The presentation I just did was also made in Canva. It's a super cool and easy to use tool. Figma does something similar as well. But yeah, I personally just use Canva the most. I mentioned earlier that you can use Fiverr to get your UI and your UX done. So this is a typical Fiverr person. I just Googled landing page. This guy came up. $30 and he'll make that front page for you. So if you know it's going to take you like a week of staring at the screen to get something like this done, you can pay a quick $30, and it's honestly a pretty solid investment. And this is honestly one of the he's a less well-known Fiverr person, and he still makes super awesome stuff. Like all these dashboards are way cooler than I could do in 2 days time. He has a 2-day delivery period. Like that's super hard to beat. Yeah, that's just awesome stuff there. And then I have a couple other websites that I just wanted to show you guys, and then I'm going to show you the back end of our WordPress. So this is Collate, and they are one of the people within our incubator, and they basically created a platform for students to kind of interact with each other. Think of it as like almost like a LinkedIn Slack community. It's interesting within UC Berkeley. Really awesome people, but this is an example of a super bare bones landing page that still gets the job done. So they have like I can't scroll, nothing can be done here except like it still looks awesome. I'm pretty sure this is a landmark from Berkeley. So like if you're a Berkeley student, you'd see this and it's like, oh yeah, like this makes perfect sense. They have an awesome logo, just a quick sentence about what's going on. And then when you hit enter, well, that's when it prompts you to sign in as if you're a Berkeley student, but I'm not, so I can't. But yeah, like a super awesome platform, super simple. Another cool one is Jinxdrinks. So this is actually the lock behind they lock their actual pitch deck. But this is another super simple one. Like this could be something as easy as an email capture form where you just have your logo. It's completely black, so it still looks super sleek. You can't really do that with white as much, but with black and really dark colors you can. So it still looks super sleek, but like you could put the information in and then you're there. So that's another really cool one. And then I want to go over to the back end. So this is what our WordPress looks like. It's pretty chill. And then this is what the back end of our WordPress looks like. So if I were to need to make an edit, this is where I'd go to do it. And you can see that a lot of this stuff is really easy to like move around, which is super helpful, especially when you're still building a site and not really sure as to where you want everything to go. Yeah, I mean, we put this together in, I'd say, a week or so. Now, this wasn't the first iteration. It took a while to get here, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't too tedious. It was honestly more fun than anything else. But yeah, this is what the back end of a website would look like. But with that, yeah, I just wanted to like stop and give people a chance to ask questions. That's kind of all I had. I wanted to keep it short, 30-minute presentation so you guys could get a general idea of what's going on. But yeah, thanks for taking the time. Thanks for listening, and definitely ask any questions. All right. Maybe Cassia will ask a question since like yeah, doesn't seem like there are too many.
That remover was really cool. I did not know about that. I just wanted to comment on it because I was like, I didn't know that. I've been struggling with how to like remove the background on some of them before. So now I know. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love the Canva background remover. It's super cool. Super helpful too. Yeah, I can I guess let me think. Stock photos. Cassia, what was that site we went to for stock photos?
Let me pull it up. Hold on, I have to go through our messages.
Okay, yeah, we used to. So one of the other things is like pinpointing a place to come up with like really awesome stock photos. That's like always a good time because you're gonna need a lot of them when building a website. And then actually, there's one more website that I want to show you guys, and then I actually don't have anything else because I don't want to hog up the time here. Okay, so this is a really awesome agency. They're a Gen Z ad agency, and they do something really cool where they have like it's the only way that Busy can be used, I would say, because it is pretty busy, and there's not a lot of faces. One thing that's really big is having like either faces or user experience so people know what to expect. But what they use instead is these little like toy figurines. Think it's awesome. And then they use moving elements in the background, which is something that you can do like on anything. Yeah, you can do it on like anything. And so, yeah, they have this like rolling in the background, super cool. Like I like it a lot. Sorry, my Discord is kind of popping in the background. They have a video. Videos are always really good because people are likely to look. And yeah, like they keep it super simple. But even the way they show their team, it's just like this is a really good idea of how to like show everybody on your team. It's like phones. They probably use the Canva feature that I just showed you, and then just like names. It's just super cool. Yeah, logos of everyone they've worked with. They've worked with a lot of cool people, and it's just like fresh and fun and moving. I like the fact that it moves. So I also wanted to show you guys the host checker. Cool. So if I wanted to look at GameFi, for example, I forgot to show you guys this earlier. Cool. They're using Wix. So yeah, it's like super easy to just see everything that's going on. Like, of course, like I wouldn't use this to like see where they're located or anything because that's not ideal. But yeah, you can see at least what they're hosting it on. And then if they're hosting it on something private, then you'll know because like this is hosted on AWS, meaning it probably got coded. Yeah, they didn't host it on anything mainstream. So you run into something like this and then you'll know, okay, well, they did it custom. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that feature as well. But yeah, now I actually don't have anything else. So thanks.
We actually have a question in the chat box that I'll read to you right now. And so Pratik is asking, I've been hearing that animations don't contribute towards SEO, but text does. What's your opinion on it, and is there a harmonious ratio between text and animation for a landing page?
Yeah, that's actually a really awesome question. Yeah, text is what contributes to SEO for sure, but just because text contributes more to the SEO doesn't mean that you can't also have really awesome animation going on too. So if you have to pick one or the other, like you only have time to do one, it's definitely going to be text. Like really focus in on those keywords and get everything set up that way. But if you have the time, or if you like outsource to a developer, you have somebody who's, designed when it comes to, gifted when it comes to designing, then yeah, you can do both and be just fine. So even though it doesn't help your SEO, it helps the way people look at your site. Because here's the thing. If you have amazing SEO and a whole bunch of people click on your site, who's to say they're going to stay? Like, just because they click doesn't mean they'll stay. You'll have like terrible bounce back if the design isn't impeccable. So yeah, don't be afraid of adding some things that are just things that look good but don't help the SEO. And I definitely understand the struggle because I end up having to commit a lot of time to both when building Listen Network's site. But yeah, hopefully that like answers that question. And definitely ask more. Like I think we have like 30 minutes, so ask whatever you guys have.
I have a question. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, no, go ahead. I was just saying.
Okay. My question was just like any more like tips or like tricks for like optimizing SEO or like Google landing pages or like Google search options?
Yeah, here I actually plugins, like keyword plugins, are really, really key, but the freest way we can do this is, let me show you guys my screen. Is this it? Yeah, open share. Okay, let's find Google. Great. Okay, so one of the other things you can do is go to Google Trends. And this is the free way, and I'll also show you the like cost money way. So if you go to Google Trends, and say I want to start a startup based off of the MCAT, like people trying to get into med school, and I want to do an MCAT training startup that's all virtual. I would want to see when people are looking at MCAT, okay, this would be a terrible idea, it looks like. Hold on, let me actually look at the 5-year trends. Okay, this wouldn't be a very awesome startup idea, just a heads up. But if I were to do it, I would look up the MCAT and I would just start rabbit holing. This is the free way. I would just start rabbit holing down all of the related topics, as well as like trying to like look at the trends and looking up other things that are MCAT related. So yeah, like medical college admission test, that's like MCAT spelled out. And I'd start like copying down all these keywords just so I can like start knowing what people are searching for. Now, the more expensive way to do this, and when I say expensive, I mean like $10 a month. Search up MCAT, and then I have this Keywords Everywhere plugin that I got from my Chrome plugin. Turn it on, search it again. And so the cool thing about this is it'll bring in the trend history, but then if you scroll down, it'll also bring in keywords, and then you can extract the keywords, like you can export them and like save all these keywords, and then these are keywords that you can use in your actual actual website. So if I go over here again to our page and actually go to our posts. All right, we have 19 published posts. Let's see, 6 stages of a startup. There's this one. Let's do this one. 3 things to consider. Yeah, I think this is fine. And this was written by Cassia. The other thing we do over here, we have a tracker for our SEO and our readability. And the way this goes up and like down, it will like tell us. Right now, like all of our SEO is like pretty top notch just because we put a lot of time into it. But it'll actually tell us like the things that are ranked the highly when you're working with SEO. So like your title, the length of your text, the description length, and then there's the actual like key phrase. The key phrase is interchangeable with keyword. So we decided our key phrase here was going to be start a startup. So then we start like trying to make sure start a startup is used multiple times within our article. So if I control F, start, we make sure that like it's just start a startup, like it's everywhere, just so if someone Googles that, our article is more likely to come up. And the other thing we do is make sure it's readable. So some people just focus on the SEO, but you also have to be writing sentences that make sense, because that's how you stop someone from just making an entire paragraph called start a startup. Yeah, so we also have the readability, and that's where we focus on like the transition words, how long are the sentences, the paragraphs, the heading, all of that. And then passive voice, Cassia, she probably doesn't want to hear this, and she probably doesn't want me to say this. She writes in passive voice a lot.
It's true. I'm guilty.
And so like, but you see, instead of like, we maybe we couldn't fix the passive voice, like maybe it was too hard to fix that. But what we were able to do is fix all these things so we could still get a really high score. Because like it sucks to get that frowny face, and it is so hard to get it to turn green. But yeah, if I like click this, it'll actually highlight all of her passive voice. So that's fun.
Direct targeted call out.
I mean, if I clicked on one of my articles, we could see my own problems, but I guess we didn't do that. But yeah, so that hopefully that answers your question. Just to recap, you can go to Google Trends and do it for free, but that's a lot of sweat equity there. Or you could just download a plugin like this, pay about $10 a month, and then you can get some better analysis on your Google page. And then the cool thing about this is you can actually use this in other places. So for example, if I go to Amazon, and hopefully there's nothing like crazy in my Amazon. Okay, good. There's nothing crazy. You can also search like shoes. And then if I make sure my keyword is on, yep, right here. So that keyword plugin also works. You guys can see I really wanted some shredded coconut. You can also use it right here So it'll tell me like the cost per click. So it costs 48 cents per click on shoe on Amazon. So if I click on one of these, I'm actually wasting 48 cents of someone's, if it's sponsored, I'm wasting 48 cents of their, yeah, it's sponsored. I'm wasting 48 cents of their ad spend. So I'm not going to click on these. But yeah, and then the competition ranking, it gives you all that as well as the volume. So it looks like in this area we get about 2.7 million searches for shoes per month. That is a lot. So yeah, that can help you also not only validate an idea, but help boost your own website. But yeah, that was an awesome question.
I actually have one more question. Kind of like, I have my own website and I want to know if you'd be open to like opening it up and like giving me like a critique on like what's good or like what could be done better.
Yeah,
If you're okay with
100%.
that.
What is it called?
It's my first and last name, ANCHITATANDON, photography.com.
Okay. It's like you're popular. You have your own. It came up pretty fast. Okay. Cool.
And there's like 4 pages or 4 pictures if you wanted to wait.
Oh wow. Okay. Cool.
And this is through Squarespace.
Okay. That one, first thing I'll say, super smart that you made it through Squarespace. For anybody making anything portfolio related, that's what I consider to be a very flat website. By flat, like the back end isn't too heavy. So Squarespace is one of the best places for you to host something like that. From the first page, that looks awesome. This is really cool. So when you send someone here, what's your goal? Are you trying to send people here so that they can just see what you do, or see what you do and also get to book you? Because there's like a difference. My answer would be different between the two.
Both of what you just said.
Both? Okay. So I think that call to actions are great for startups, but kind of ruin things like photography, culinary pages. Like if you had something really big right here that said book me now, like it would feel too gimmicky. I actually like how clean this is. I think that the only thing I could even consider saying, like maybe try, is grouping them by some kind of like if there's any like theme you have going on. But honestly, I think that this is really awesome, especially like for a simple portfolio. Let's see your contacts. Okay, the contact page is definitely a little stressful, only because it's a little bit too close to the edge over here, and it's not very well contained. So yes, there are names that could be like super duper long, but for the most part, they're going to be able to fit in like half of these. Especially like, I mean, my last name's pretty, like, yeah, if Washington's only taking up like 1/6 of this bar, you want to cut this almost in half because it's really long and it makes people, even though it's fake, even though it's not true that it's actually more fields, it makes people feel like there's a lot more going on than is actually going on.
Would you suggest on bringing taking out the picture completely and just having the contact page with just like name, email address, and all of that, or just like putting the picture below everything?
I would actually keep the picture right here. I like the picture right here. I would just move this over. I like the picture right here only because when I'm putting my information in, think about it, like you have to keep their attention for all of these fields. And if they're looking over and it's like, man, I want to look that beautiful when I have my pictures, like, yeah, I'm going to keep filling this out. If there's nothing there to reinforce the action that they're doing, they'll probably leave your site and like not even care. Yeah, and I even like this, like, let's create memories. Like, I think that's really cool, and I like the picture there. I think you should keep it. But yeah, I think this is overall really awesome. And I don't know if you did utilize a template from Squarespace, but if you did, that's awesome. If you didn't, that's even more awesome because that means you made this yourself. But,
I did use a template.
Oh, you did? Oh, no, that's awesome. I think
not.
that's like a great idea because their templates for those, for like portfolios and things like that are really cool. So yeah, this is awesome. And thanks for being brave enough to like have me look at your website live.
I appreciate that.
But yeah, no, this is really awesome. And do these links actually work?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, awesome. I was about to say dead links are also the quickest way to get someone to leave your website.
Actually, check them out. They should work, actually. Hopefully they do. Yeah, they should.
Oh, yeah, awesome. This one works. I'm assuming the other ones work. I don't want to like click around too much and like, yeah. No, yeah, this is awesome. Love that picture too. Really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is really cool. I love it. This is awesome.
Thank you so much.
Do you know of any like good personal websites, or do you guys like have any yourselves?
Personal websites?
Yeah.
You know who has a decent personal website? Cassia. Marwan has a pretty decent personal website.
He does. Let me go get his, unless you have it.
Did I? Run. All right, here he is. I'm pretty sure, am I talking about Marwan? Yeah. So this is one of the founders of GameFi. Super simple. Even though there are things, yeah, it's just super simple, super awesome. He has his like live resume on here, where he talks about his really awesome experience. Like this guy's a beast. He's done so much stuff, and he's not even out of school yet. And his he has a really cool way of showing his skills, the clients that he's worked for, his actual organizations that he's been at, his interviews, and just like hype about him on a one pager. Really cool stuff. Yeah, he's just really cool. And this is all one page, so as you click, it just takes you further down the page. I think that's the best way to have a personal website, is to have something that's just one page that like is a scroll down, because the more individual pages you have, the more confusing it can be for someone who's on your site. And then of course he has all these links that you can just instantly see his stuff. So yeah, I think this is a cool one. Anyone else you can think of, Cassia?
Not really. I've seen a lot of personal websites in my day, but most of them are focused on people in tech, and that's kind of an entirely different beast to wrangle. But this is definitely like a really, really good example, because we saw this and we loved it.
Yeah, super awesome stuff. I feel like GameFi is getting all the attention in this this demo, but they have a lot of cool stuff. But yeah, hopefully that helped you out. All right, other questions? I'm here for like 15 more minutes, so I can answer anything. Can also just sit and wait for questions, I guess.
I have a question for you, Taylor. When is it worth buying? So if we go with WordPress, when is it worth buying a business account versus just always using the free account?
Yeah, that's definitely going to, oh, sorry, I live next to a busy street if you hear anything. That's definitely going to come down to what you need it for. So like I said, flat, if you're using something that's flat, and by flat, I mean there's not a lot of code that needs to go into it to make it happen, and not a lot of like plugins or backend stuff, then you can like ride that free train until the end of time. Please, like just pay for the domain and try to have everything else be as free as possible, or as cheap as possible. But once you start getting into needing some of that heavier lift, like we had to pay for WordPress, which sucked. It was like $300, which I despise. But we had to pay for WordPress twice, because we needed to implement like external code to make our website do the things we wanted it to do. For example, I'm actually going to share again. I should honestly just leave my share up at this point. So for example, I designed this cleaning website. Please don't ask any questions about why. But having this right here, this feature where you can kind of enter in your bedroom, bathroom, all that, that's an external code that had to be like put in. Yeah, like the booking system, if I were to go to the book, that's an external code that had to be put in, like this little like calendar system. the videos, like all that stuff. If you want like more bells and whistles, yeah, if you want more bells and whistles, then you're definitely going to have to like kind of fork up some extra cash. So that's when you're going to want to probably pay. But as long as you're just doing something like a landing page, you should be fine. Like you shouldn't have to pay. Good question as well.
What about like font wise? Like how many types of fonts would you say you should use in a website?
I would try to keep it as simple as possible. So usually when you make a brand kit, so for example, let me just show you guys here, how do I, yeah, there's a lot of different ways to get here. Brand kit. So when you have a brand kit, you can like create the fonts. And as you see, you need a header, subheader, and a body. Now for the sake of Listen Network, because it was like so simple, we went along and just picked 3 different versions of the same style font, but I've seen people do other things. So for example, if I go back and I hit the headers, and let's make a new, let's make a new slide. And then I can just go over to text. So they'll have like combinations, like font combinations that kind of like cheat for you and just help you like pick something that makes sense without you having to do too much. So you kind of just look for the look that you're going for, and you can kind of figure it out. So for example, if I was trying to make it like I guess this would be for like a water brand, I guess. Yeah, like they added 3 different types of font, but as you can see, it works perfectly. I had to make a logo. I also make a lot of logos using Canva. And whenever I do, I always use this feature to try to like pick fonts that make sense, because that's actually something that that's like probably the thing I'm worst at, is picking fonts that make sense. So I just cheat and use something that picks them for me, because it's a lot easier. Hopefully that answered your question. And you can also, oh wait, there's also another website you can use, Font Squirrel Maturator. So with Font Squirrel, say you see a website and you're like, yo, this is the best font. I love the combination. You can screenshot like the entire website and then upload it into Font Squirrel. And that's just fontsquirrel.com, and it'll tell you every font that's in the picture. And it'll like it, I don't know how it does it. It must be like AI, but it'll like identify each font and then tell you what it's called, and then even show you where you can download it if you need to like upload it into Photoshop or something. So yeah, Font Squirrel is super awesome for fonts as well. It's another good question.
Thank you. That was really cool. I didn't know about that. I'll probably be using that as well.
Yeah, no problem. Anybody else? Can answer colors, more fonts, pictures. I could build another picture. Maybe in the meantime I should build another picture. I don't really know. One thing I also like, I guess, is like these little like 3D people that they have in here. They have like these little heads, and it's like really popular right now, like using these on a lot of like new sites, at least like startups and stuff. So I like use these a lot, and I like how they look. Like they're kind of like weird, but they remind me of like, I guess, childhood in some way. So yeah, something else that I have used as well. I don't know. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me turn this off. Turn that off. Definitely let me know. But yeah, otherwise it was really great to just get a chance to talk through some of the stuff that I use and kind of show you guys some of the ins and outs. Great. Cassia, did you have anything you wanted to kind of piggyback in on?
I didn't. I feel like you covered a lot of things that we definitely learned throughout this whole web design process.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the regrets that I have is that we never used Fiverr sooner, because I definitely like, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. So yeah, if you know you can save a whole lot of time, your time is your most valuable asset. So if you know you can save a whole lot of time, like especially in college, like $30 for me in college, I don't know about you guys, but when I was in school, $30 was like, that was like 2 weeks worth of spending. Like I really didn't have that much money, so it's a lot. But I probably would have used Fiverr sooner, to get things looking a lot cooler and a lot faster than if I did it by myself. I definitely wish I would have outsourced, but we live and we learn, so it's all cool. But otherwise, I think that's it. I guess I guess I can give you guys 5 minutes of your night back. But yeah, thanks so much for listening, and you can definitely reach out if you have any questions. My email is just taylor@listennetwork.com. Listen is spelled with a Y, not an I, just so you know. And you can send me links to your website, or if you have a website idea, or if you need some help, just let me know and I'll be available. But yeah, thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Taylor and Cassia, today for your time. It's actually been really helpful just going through like the nitty-gritty kind of things of like web designing, and like obviously for Canva, like I guess like everyone uses Canva, but like I've never like seen like all the other features that it offers, like the I guess like the changing of the color of like the background and everything, and like I guess I obviously have to go back and like look at more of what Canva offers and everything. But overall, it's been really helpful having you explain everything that you have today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you guys are welcome.
Yeah, it was great to be here.
Awesome.